Toad Dragon isn't something I've talked about on this channel since it had some buffs, but why not take a look at it in this replay today from Slade and leave it to the legend himself to take no caster. Instead, it's just got Tamarkan on the Toad Dragon and some Rot Knights. No rank 9s here, except for the Rotting Riders Regiment of Renown, and then we've got 3 Rot Flies as well. So, a tiny little cavalry army against Archon's force here. He's got Chaos Warriors with Hell Scourges. He's got a couple Exalted Heroes on Chariots, who are very unfortunately on Chariots. He's got a Chaos Armored Trolls here, Chaos Knights, a couple of Hell Striders who did take a nasty nerf in the last patch. I say nasty nerf. In land battles, at least, they weren't that good to begin with. I understand them, and especially Seekers were extremely good in domination. But unfortunately, their nerf did make them not the best in land battles, although here they do get a reasonably cost-effective engagement, at least initially, against the Rotting Riders. Rot Flies fly down, and Tamarkan's going to call himself over. Yes, he called himself. Don't ask me how. Pops his buffs. And we'll watch the Toad Dragon animations up close here in the picturesque deserts of Nekara, as a purple sun is going to kick off here. We'll do some pretty good AoE damage to these Rotting Riders, as it has killed all my sound as well, perhaps permanently. There we go. Yeah, the Rot Flies, that little attack buff here, going to come in. We see the Hell Striders get completely shattered. Chaos Knights come in. They are the Sword and Shield variant, so we'll have some good defensive stats, but overall taking some pretty big hits. A massive weapon strength of Tamarkan up on the Toad Dragon is something certainly that people don't want to mess with too much. If they take hits from it, they will take huge hits. You can see immediately chariot damage on the chariot, rather, as yeah, both these Exalted Heroes surrounded by anti-large Rot Knights, plus getting pummeled by the Toad Dragon. Definitely a tough situation to be in, but balance power actually favoring Archon's force a little bit, as Slade's Gambit starting to run out of steam without that sweet, sweet healing Lore of Nurgle to sustain him. His units are taking quite a bit of damage here. That said, surprising lack of anti-large from the Warriors of Chaos player here. Not sure exactly what he expected, but interesting spell loadout as well. Searing Doom, Purple Sun, so just looking for that AoE damage, I guess. But maybe he thought Slade would go with more of an infantry-based composition, but alas, he did not. The Angels of Decay here are going to throw their death's heads from on high and do some really nice damage to these Trolls. Help rout them off here. Armored Chaos Trolls are a very cool choice. I'm a big fan, but they're going to get exploded by death's heads. And how rotten do you have to be to do damage to a Troll? Yeah. Archon's still got quite a bit of HP left, but the rest of his army is getting pretty thin. He's got the Mirror Guard. He's got some other Slaanesh warriors here. Quite a Slaanesh bent to Archon's force today. Very curious. Almost like Slaanesh versus Nurgle game, but not quite. Arguably better than Slaanesh in land battles right now. I don't know. Yeah, I actually don't think I need to question that, given their options. I think, like, Fiends are pretty good right now, but generally I would say Warriors of Chaos just have more options and better options, given the constraints of their playstyles. But anyway, yeah, you see here Slayer of Kings being popped, but Archon being on foot means he can't really, like, push through even, like, the Rot Knights and stuff, get to the Toad Boy, and regardless, Toad Boy pops his things, moves back over with his own weapon strength buff active, up to 800 weapon strength. Absolutely seal clubs Archon. Yeah, Archon does have some support here. These Chaos Knights, Slaanesh Warriors continuing to fight. Got a handful of Rota Horse Masters as well. See what they've used up their ammunition on, but 1751, they've definitely paid for themselves. A couple more of those would have been really nice, and in general, I would say having ranged units is super important against Nurgle, obviously, with their giant Chungus monsters. Healing Chungus monsters at that, but Rot Flies charge down to support Tamarkan once more, and how about that shot right there, huh? I mean, just Man, this game is so cool. The Chaos Knights and the Rot Flies and the giant Toad Dragon. The Knights of Chaos fall. Archon's troops getting overwhelmed here by the elites of Nurgle. Archon himself also just gets crushed in combat by the immense girth of the Toad Dragon. Yes, such a cool piece, honestly. I'm glad that the Toad Dragon did something here. Not a piece you see super often, but I would say against Chaos factions, except probably Tzeentch, it's a pretty good play, even against Tzeentch. I mean, if you can manage to, like, occupy their missiles, which, granted, Tzeentch can definitely take a lot, would be a problem. Other kind of rush-oriented factions, Beastmen, Greenskins might be a little bit dangerous just because they do have pretty good missiles as well, and they are definitely incentivized to bring missiles against Nurgle, as I mentioned, and fungus monsters like, you know, Kugath and so forth. Tamarkan, unfortunately, is countered by similar things, so at the end of the day, your opponent probably has brought tools to deal with him, but nonetheless, can be very cool. In certain matchups, he can kind of kill the stuff that's meant to deal with him to a degree, but not too many conclusions to be drawn from a little bit of a meme game like this. Just more fun, to be honest. And sometimes we play games to have fun. I know, such a crazy concept, but the Dragon's absolutely eating it up here. As the Rot Flies, the Rotting Riders, everything else charges in once more, trying to finish off Archon. And, yeah, finish off these Slaanesh troops. Immune to Psychology, they won't tear rout, but they will just straight up rout to army losses. And that'll be victory for Slade. A fun one for sure. Triple Rot Knights all pay for themselves. Well, I guess technically the ROR did not, but that's okay. The Rot Flies did not, but then the Angels of Decay did. I mean, having that extra ranged attack and the extra stats makes such a huge difference. I think they have more models too, right? Anyway, Tamarkan himself gets almost 15,000 damage dealt, 2,700 gold value. Absolutely spectacular. His opponent actually did a reasonably decent job considering he was up against a very unorthodox build. Very strange. Almost 10,000 damage dealt on Archon, 2,300 gold value on him, so he pays for himself pretty much. The Mirror Guard, definitely a bright spot there as well, pun intended. Hellstriders, they get killed, as do the Chaos Knights, actually. None of them really pay out on value all that well. The one Horsemaster does, the other one doesn't quite get what it needs to, and this is ultimately, like, if this Horsemaster is able to get a little bit more damage, granted, killing Tamarkan is just going to trigger him killing Archon, so I don't know if that's actually going to do a lot for you here, but you maybe could have killed, like, some more of these Rot Knights and whatnot. Anyway, I respect the pick of the Chaos Trolls, even if they're not ideal necessarily. Definitely a fun one for sure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. If that's the case, be sure to like the video, share it with a friend, comment down below, tell me what you think. Thanks again, we'll see you next time.